Today, I'm going to be reading a letter that was published publicly because this is the letter that led me to this concept to begin with. And it's not from a founder, it's actually from an athlete. I've met this guy a few years ago. I'm not friends with him, but I think this letter has some great lessons that we can draw parallels between being a business owner and being an athlete. This is a letter to the rookies going to the 2025 CrossFit Games, and it was written by Cole Sager. Cole's an American athlete who's one of the very few people to ever compete at the CrossFit Games for more than 10 years. So he's definitely got the experience to be sharing these lessons. So let's get straight into it. Here's the letter. Letter to the rookies. Time will stand still next month. Pack your days with more work and deeper mental engagement than you probably ever have. You'll feel the urge to obsess over everything, analyze every detail, and dial in every 1%. You don't need to. Honor the hard work you're doing and all that will follow. What's far more important is being present and enjoying the journey. 11 straight CrossFit Games went by in what felt like a few short years. So be where your feet are. Be present. Don't carry the weight of pressure. It's not real. You are capable. Know that. You'll perform to the level of your preparation. So prepare well and be content with that. If you're proud of your preparation, then you should undoubtedly be proud of your performance at the games. Enjoy games training. It's a season like no other. Nobody is actually training as much as social media makes it seem. Trust your gut, take your rest days, don't overdo it. Let your body come into the games healthy and eager to compete. Do your best to make the most of every moment. Laugh, connect with the judges, thank the volunteers, take every picture with fan that asks. And when you step onto that competition floor for the first time, look up, take it all in. Very few people get the honor of displaying their craft in front of thousands. It's a privilege to feel those butterflies. You're ready to unleash them. What a letter. I actually got my wife to read this because she competed at the CrossFit Games herself, and she could really resonate with what he was talking about. She started crying because it brought up so many emotions about her days of competing. I also think it had something to do with her having a massive crush on Cole Sager as well, but we won't get into that. Now, I've never competed at the CrossFit Games, but I have coached multiple athletes there. And let me be very clear, I was never their main coach. I wasn't the one that was writing their programs week in and week out. I was there for their headspace. So I'll just tell you a quick funny story that I remember. I was at the CrossFit Games and I was there to coach Hannah, and she was a masters athlete. And she would get unbelievably nervous before events. And this one event, we were warming up and she started to go silent, which I knew wasn't a good sign. She was going internal. She wasn't saying much. She's usually bubbly, smiling, having fun. And this is when she's at her best. But the nerves were getting the better of her. I tried my best to get her out of that state, but just nothing was working. Then this guy started warming up next to us. Another masters athlete, African American guy, and he was wearing the tightest shorts I've ever seen in my life. I looked across, and while he was in a very interesting stretching position, I couldn't help but to notice he was packing some serious heat. It was almost like he had shoved a foam roller down the front of his pants. And Hannah must have seen the shock in my eyes and asked me, "What?" And I motioned with a nod toward the athlete. And she saw exactly what I saw. We both started smiling and laughing at the scenario. And this is a pattern interrupt. It snapped her out from being a nervous wreck to smiling and laughing again. And I only tell you this to help you understand that when I say I was a coach at the CrossFit Games, this was the role that I had to play. Now, I noticed in Cole's letter, he didn't mention workouts or physical strategies at all. And I think it's because he knows the mental game is just as well, if not more important than the physical. He mentions presence, detachment from outcome, regulating emotion, managing comparison, showing gratitude. And these are all the things that separate the elite performers. And it's true in CrossFit. It's true in business, and it's probably true in whatever arena you're walking into right now. So here are the 5 lessons that I pulled out of this. Number 1, perfectionism is seductive but distracting. He writes, You'll feel the urge to obsess over everything, analyze every detail, and dial in every 1%. You don't need to. Something important to understand here is that over optimizing can become a maladaptive coping strategy just to mask your fear. And in business, founders obsess over every launch detail, branding, every word on their sales page, often because it feels safer to do that than actually do the work that's going to move the needle. And this is what I refer to as just busy work, making sure everything is absolutely perfect before pulling the trigger. Now, perfect, that just becomes a hiding place. And founders love hiding, but they also know that growth lives in action. Lesson 2, presence beats pressure. Be where your feet are. Don't carry the weight of pressure. It's not real. Now, most of the pressure you're feeling, it's not from the world. It's from you, your own expectations, your imagined judgments, the invisible scoreboard that you keep in your head. As founders, we carry a lot of mental load that no one else sees. The team looks to you for certainty. Clients expect results. The family still needs time. The government wants their tax. The marketing plan needs to be done. The emails are stacking up like bricks in our inbox. And under all that, there's this quiet voice in our head that says, you should know what to do. You should be better at this by now. And the more pressure you stack, the foggier it gets. When we talk about clarity, it doesn't come from sprinting harder. It comes from stopping just long enough to think clearly. Presence beats pressure every time. Stop, breathe, zoom out. Solve this problem, not the 12 hypothetical ones that are waiting just around the corner. And that's how you lead. That's how you last. 3, comparison is an illusion. Cole writes, nobody is actually training as much as social media makes it seem. Now, wherever you are, you're not behind. You're just seeing a distorted highlight reel in front of you. And in business, comparison kills confidence. So let's take content creation as an example, which is something that I really struggle with. You scroll for 30 seconds and you see 10 other business owners posting slick, punchy, high performing videos or carousels, and it just looks effortless. And your taste develops way faster than your skill set, meaning you can now spot great content. You know what works. You see what's missing in your own posts, but actually learning how to write like that or show up like that or speak like that on camera, that takes reps. It takes time. So what happens is you end up starting to judge your early work with an advanced eye. And the result is you just stop posting. Or you try skip the learning curve by copying others, which just makes things even worse. You can't compare your behind the scenes to someone else's 10th take with a paid videographer and a content coach in their corner. So stay in your own lane, post the rep, build that muscle. Number 4, rest is strategic, not weak. Trust your gut, take your rest days, don't overdo it. Overtraining isn't discipline, it's just fear in disguise. Fear of slowing down, fear of being behind, fear that if you stop, it's all going to fall apart. And fatigue doesn't just drain energy, it clouds your judgment altogether. So tired founders make reactive decisions. They misread signals and they chase the wrong fires. In business, rest doesn't mean a hammock and a mojito for 2 weeks in Mexico. It means a phone on airplane mode for 24 hours, a full afternoon to think without an agenda, or saying no to that quick collab or that one more sprint to get the revenue target. Because recovery is a part of performance. If you're not pausing, you're not building, you're just heading towards burning out. And no one scales in survival mode. Number 5, soak it in or you'll miss it. Laugh, connect with the judges, thank the volunteers, take every picture with the fan that asks. Now, this won't last forever. Don't let the peak moment pass you by because you were too busy trying to chase the next one. In business, more than likely, you're in your mores. And what I mean by that is more revenue, more meetings, more pressure, more moving parts. You only get this version of the business once. This season, this team you're working with, this chaos, this growth spurt, if you're always sprinting towards the next milestone, you'll miss the meaning of the one that you're in at the moment. So the pace you're keeping right now, it might be necessary, but presence is still a choice. So, like Cole says, look up, take the call from the old mentor, acknowledge the moment that you're in, because the irony of it all is what feels like a grind right now might become the memory that you cherish later on. This was a letter written for the CrossFit rookies, packed with lessons that I found for founders who feel like rookies every time they try hit a new level in their business. And the big things that I took from this was presence matters, rest matters, progress isn't always loud, and the pressure, most of it's just noise that we've created ourselves. So if this episode gave you something to think about, please share it with someone else who's in the thick of building at the moment. Someone who might need the reminder that they're doing better than they think. And if you've got a letter that you think more people need to hear, send it my way. Thanks for listening.